In this video, we're looking at how communication shapes public trust in environmental issues. The technical side of water and wastewater is important, but often the bigger question is how those efforts are explained. We'll explore 3 examples: PFAS contamination of biosolids, Paris's effort to clean up the Seine River for the 2024 Olympics, and the so-called Flushable Wipes problem. Each shows how communication can build trust or break it.
The first case shows how unclear communication about biosolids and contamination has shaped public response. PFAS, found in biosolids, is an issue widely reported in the media. Negative attention has been given to municipal biosolids because of PFAS contamination. Nothing in conventional wastewater treatment can remove these chemicals, so they end up in the sludge. PFAS are chemicals that have been used since the 1940s and have been linked to several cancers. These chemicals enter wastewater treatment plants from upstream sources, including homes, businesses, and industry. Public attention has been intense. In response, some states, like Maine, have halted all land application, while Vermont and New York have proposed bans. These moves were made as precautionary measures, but have been criticized for lacking clear, long-term alternatives for managing biosolids. Michigan has taken a different approach. Facilities are required to monitor PFAS levels, and land application rules depend on those results. High concentrations can't be applied. Lower concentrations can still be used for beneficial purposes. Michigan also focuses on source reduction upstream and uses a multi-agency approach built on openness and transparency. This gives communities a clear strategy instead of leaving them with uncertainty. Change is needed, starting at the source. Just as important is communication. Facts must be shared clearly so the public understands the risks without being driven by fear or doubt.
The second case shows how even a billion-euro cleanup effort can lose credibility when communication isn't consistent. Ahead of the 2024 Olympics, Paris committed over €1 billion to clean up the Seine River. The plan ran from 2018 to 2024 and included expanded wastewater treatment plants, new rainwater storage basins, and sewer upgrades. Despite these investments, the Seine's low natural dilution capacity and its combined sewer system meant heavy rainfall could still trigger sewage overflows. In summer, this often caused sharp spikes in E. coli levels. Daily testing showed discrepancies. Independent firms used methods that measured particle-bound bacteria and often reported higher contamination than the official EU standard counts, which only tracked free-floating bacteria. In 2024, event organizers raised the allowable limits for E. coli and enterococci, doubling the thresholds. With little public explanation, the move drew criticism. 2 training sessions were canceled and the main events were delayed until bacteria levels dipped just below the new threshold. But there was real progress. Biodiversity had rebounded from just 2 fish species in the 1970s to more than 30 by 2024. Public swim zones are now planned for 2025. But communication fell short. Raising safety thresholds without explanation, limiting transparency, and relying on symbolic gestures undermine trust. For lasting confidence, the message must rely not only on spectacle, but on clear and consistent information backed by independent verification.
The third case shows how everyday products can create years of problems when marketing outpaces honesty. The first wet wipe was invented in 1957 for the cosmetic industry and became widely popular after Colonel Sanders used them in KFC restaurants. From there, wipes spread quickly into households. Today, wipes are everywhere, but so-called flushable wipes aren't really flushable. A Canadian study tested more than 100 wipes marketed as flushable. Not one passed. In reality, there's no difference between flushable and non-flushable wipes. The label is just marketing. That marketing has caused major problems. Wipes clog pumps, block sewer lines, and create expensive backups in treatment plants. Now there is progress. Congress is considering the bipartisan Wipes Act, which would require clear do not flush labeling nationwide. The takeaway is simple. Misleading communication created long-term problems. Honest labeling and steady education are the only way to correct them.
All three examples and these strategies point us towards the same larger lesson about communication. Michigan provides a good model for effective communication. Their approach to PFAS is focused on using clear language, avoiding technical jargon, and making sure the public understands what's being shared. They've also made community engagement a priority through public meetings, virtual forums, and work groups where residents can ask questions and express concerns. Websites have been another strength. Agencies like MPART and Eagle maintain detailed pages with current information about contamination and investigations. Just as important, they are willing to admit when they don't have all the answers and explain what steps will come next. This kind of honesty builds credibility. Two examples show how this works. At the Wixom wastewater treatment plant, when PFAS contamination in beef was discovered, agencies quickly issued consumption advisories and held a virtual meeting with residents. In Lapeer, when high PFOS levels were found in biosolids, land application was stopped immediately and the results were posted online. Both cases showed a focus on openness and quick response. There are broader strategies as well. Short videos make complex issues easier to understand. Public tours of treatment plants help people see the process firsthand. Rebranding the term wastewater treatment plants as water resource recovery facilities shifts how the work is perceived. And public report cards give communities confidence that nothing is being hidden. The common thread is openness, clarity, and a willingness to listen. These strategies show that communication is not just an add-on, but an essential part of building public trust.
Across these three cases, one theme is clear: technical progress can be real. But if communication is incomplete or unclear, trust breaks down. PFAS in biosolids shows how precautionary bans without clear alternatives leaves questions. While Michigan's staged and transparent approach builds confidence, Paris invested heavily in the scene, but by changing safety thresholds without explanation, credibility suffered. Flushable wipes remind us how misleading marketing can shape public behavior for years. The lesson is straightforward: share data openly, explain decisions clearly, involve communities early, and focus on transparency over appearances. When communication is done right, it doesn't just support technical solutions, it makes them possible.
And it starts with all of us. Let's commit to communication that builds trust. Because when people understand the why, they're far more likely to support the how.